Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. D.Va is one of the most popular heroes in the game so far, lots of people saying that she's a bit too strong, but she's also a very popular hero to play anyway. Much like Mercy, she is a firm fan favourite. And she's actually been a hero that I've been playing and learning for a few months now, and I've been really going to town and actually learning how to play her. I've actually been looking at VOD reviews of myself, other players, how the pros are doing it, and I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time. As I said, she's incredibly popular, but that doesn't mean that you can't make some pretty major mistakes on her. Before we get started, D.Va mains, do let us know your mistakes and your tips in the comments below. We'll get a big thread of amazing advice that we can give to people that maybe decided to pick up this new hero. First and foremost is feeding ult. Fairly straightforward. You are a very big tank player and most of you will understand that you don't want to keep losing your mech in situations where you just sort of jump in, take a lot of damage and die. But it goes a bit further than that. See, D.Va has 600 bits of HP, 200 of which are armor, and if you found yourself in those fights where you jump in, you survive for a bit and you go down to like 20 health before you're able to jump out, you may go, phew, that was a close call, I didn't actually lose my mech. But what you did end up doing is feeding 580 bits of ult charge to the enemy team. And because of the amount of healing that can go out from your team with your Moiras and your Mercies, you can keep doing this time and time again. You're not necessarily just feeding kills to the enemy team with losing your mech or whatever, but more that you're just feeding them a lot of ult charge because you are a tank. Of course, other heroes are susceptible to this as well. Heroes like Roadhog can feed a lot of ult charge to the enemy. But the issue is you're diving into the backline of the enemy team quite a lot, so you're getting right into the face of the enemy. So it's not just about losing your mech, but you need to be aware of those times where you go, yeah, I just fed a lot of ult charge to the enemy team then. I shouldn't have dove in on my own. I shouldn't have used up all my matrix, which actually goes on to the second mistake. Defense matrix is on a much smaller cooldown now as well. So unnecessarily using your defense matrix is a very big mistake that we see a lot of players using. I'd say that most players are quite trigger finger, including myself just running for a choke. You can't help pressing that secondary fire button, and because of that you end up depleting defense matrix honestly when you don't need to, and that can cause a lot of problems. See, the enemy team could poke you down from a distance. Let's say that they have a soldier and you've used all your matrix just to sort of eat some of this trash poke damage that they're trying to throw through. If a good soldier can spot that you've used your defense matrix a lot, and believe me, a lot of soldiers can, they could bring out the tactical visor or a high noon from McCree. They will be aware of your defense matrix usage and thus will actually use these core abilities when they know that you're very low on this resource. But your defense matrix is so important, so sort of using it in situations that it isn't important, it's going to set you back and your team back as well in those situations where you've gone, I could have saved our Mercy there but I didn't have defense matrix. The third mistake isn't a big one to be honest, but it is poking fire from far away. A poke phase in a match is basically when both teams are very much quite far from one another and they're just poking damage, as I mentioned before, soldier, just trying to get a little bit of damage from a distance, trying to just get some ult charge. Well, as D.Va you can't really do that, and I often find myself and see other people as well sort of firing from 30 yards away as a D.Va with her left click. Whilst you do get hit notifications show that you're doing a bit of damage, it's a fraction of a unit there. And often a lot of the time you see players actually holding down left click from 20 yards out and walking towards the enemy, when honestly you just want to actually let go of the firing button because you move a lot faster. So if you find yourselves firing from targets from a distance and slowly making your way in, snap out of it, stop firing and just walk to them normally. You need to close that distance to actually do any form of damage as D.Va. Mistake number 4 is more a bit of a tidbit of advice, and it's about devising your dive, and the mistake is not really doing this. One of the best examples for this actually is on Watch Punch Gibraltar. You're defending, you're sat on this little bit of high ground that we're showing on screen. Why are you sat here? Well, it means that you don't need to use any actual abilities to get to the enemy if they try and use this little bridge walk. Whereas if I use this example, let's say the enemy are on this bridge, you're using your boosters to actually get to them. Whereas in the example before, all you need to do is walk forward. You still have your boosters available to get out if you need to. And this is a mistake even some of the pros make. If the enemy can see you using your boosters to dive in, they know that you can't get out and they will fully dedicate to taking you out of mech. So being able to move around the map without using your boosters and then using them when you actually need them, or in a position where they're off cooldown again, is going to be pivotal to get the most out of this hero. So if there's a fight not happening, think to yourself, where can I position so I can min-max my usage of boosters, meaning that I can either use it to dive onto a target to instantly kill them, or whether I can use it to actually get out. Using your boosters when you don't need to is a very big mistake in my books. And now we get onto our fifth and final mistake, which is just basically having no self-awareness. D.Va is a very cerebral hero, and the best players are really good at playing her in this way. And there are several styles to play D.Va. We see her being used very aggressively as part of dives with your Winstons, your Genjis and your Tracers, but now and again you need to be a little bit more conservative and defensive by peeling for your supports, most especially if you're running a Zenyatta that's been hounded by a Sombra, hounded by a Tracer, and the best D.Va players can switch between aggressive and defensive amazingly well. Especially looking at the pros, there is no line for them. They can play hot and cold whenever they want. And I'm sort of including myself in there. There are games where I just have no grasp on what is going on around me. And if you really want to get better at this hero, you need to know everything that's going on in the fight and where especially you should be. It's an amazing feeling when you're getting good D.Va bombs you're on fire and you actually have a damage medal as well. But if the rest of your team are falling apart, that kind of still lies on you a little bit as well as a tank player. If your Zenyatta's always dying and you're wondering why you have gold damage, that's exactly why. You're not helping your Zenyatta and you're not helping your team do their job. You can't be selfish when you're playing this hero. But honestly, if you're struggling on this hero, VOD review yourself, look over some of these issues. No doubt one of the things that we've just mentioned will be a key aspect to why you aren't improving on D.Va or you're not climbing. But thanks for watching. Let us know your tidbits of advice as well with D.Va, the mistakes you can make in the comments below, as I said before. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.